The worst players in the whole NBA. We all have our own say when it comes to picking the best and the worst of any sport. And for this, we rely on stats, fitness, talent, style of play, and everything else in between to make our pick. While the best keep raising the bar with mind-blowing performances game after game and season after season, we don't keep any expectations for the worst players of the game. It's just sad seeing all that time and potential going to waste. Welcome back to Everything Sports. Over the years, the NBA has seen many disastrous players. In today's video, we'll be going over the worst players in the NBA now. Narrowing down the list to one player is not practically possible, so we've decided to go to the worst starters in the 2019-2020 season. First up is the worst guard. We had quite a few people competing for this spot, including Bryn Forbes, Gary Harris, Colin Sexton, and many more. But unfortunately, two people who made it to the top were Dillon Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies and Isaiah Thompson from the Washington Wizards. Isaiah finished 5th in the MVP race just 3 years back and was a second-team All-NBA player. But it's been a depressing ride downhill for him ever since that. He pushed his body to the limit and ultimately it snapped. And being on the wrong side of 30, we don't think a comeback is possible. Ever since the Celtics abandoned him, he has played for the Cavs, Lakers, Nuggets, and the Wizards during the course of only 3 years. Once he got to the Wizards, he has been trying to level up his defense just like most of the other teammates. But his size is what sets him back. His offense too is just neutral at its best. Despite all the minutes played by Dillon Brooks for the Grizzlies, his season as a whole was a disappointment. He has had a negative offensive win share, despite all of the playing time he's been getting, and ranks last among all the qualified NBA starters at negative 4.3 BPM. We got to agree, the Grizzlies ask way too much of him offensively, but he's not really the best number 2 option on offense. He has made only 42% of his twos while attempting around 9 per game. The most surprising is that despite what these numbers show, Memphis are quite impressed at what they've seen and has offered Brooks an extension of 3 years with a heavy paycheck. Moving to the worst forward, let's just start off by saying Andrew Wiggins did scrap out from the bottom of this list this year. His position is taken up by Taurean Prince of Brooklyn Nets and Terrence Ferguson of Oklahoma City Thunder. The OKC have spent the last decade trying to find someone to be their perfect 3 and D guy. And by the looks of it, Terrence Ferguson is just another failed attempt. Although he started next to 4 top players, he had a negative 3.7 rating per 100 possessions. Ferguson's performance graph was so disappointing that OKC were forced to try Hamidou Diallo and Deonte Burton, but they ended up being worse candidates for the position, ultimately leaving the Thunder's back with Terrence. Ferguson is still super young, and so maybe we shouldn't overlook him just yet. Taurean Prince is supposed to be a 3 and D wing, but he hasn't really proven to be worth his money at threes or at defense. His 3-point percentage has also dropped under 34%. He has had trouble using the length to his advantage, but the Nets were quite confident apparently, or so says the $29 million they paid him. He was by far the worst one among the Nets regular on offense, and now the Nets are stuck with the Prince for 2 more years. Now moving forward to the center position. The Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo duo tops the list. They have 18 points, 13 rebounds, in basically all of the minutes they were given this season. This comes with 2.4 assists and 1.3 blocks, which is quite tragic. The Hornets team as a whole had a rough season, but these two share a combined value of over $31 million. So it isn't a wrong call if we expect a little more from these two than the numbers we already have. Zeller has been better on offense, not stating he's been good, just comparatively better than Biyombo. Biyombo, on the other hand, did not attempt a 3 all season. He also has a miserable record of 33 on 110 shots outside the 3 feet. Femi Simmons' disastrous stats make him worthy of the worst regular title in the NBA this season. He has had only 4 starts to his name. He has just been equally bad in both defense and offense. Each time he was on the court, the Blazers were outscored 16 points per 100 possessions. The Blazers started off with high hopes of a stable 3-guard rotation of Simmons with Damian, Lillard, and CJ McCollum. But that hasn't gone well so far. He played a total of 1,400 minutes and he could barely make 40% of his shots. On games where Simmons played less than 25 minutes, the Blazers were 25 and 22. Whereas while he played for more minutes, they were 4 and 15. We do have to admit Simmons is young and fragile, and for someone who turned 21 recently, he is put under quite some pressure. But he surely has to level up his game soon. And with his potential, he does look like he'll be able to figure out his way around. The Trailblazers star was only in competition with Kyle Kuzma for this tragic worst regular position. All these players have immense talent, but in most cases they are too young to have adapted to the teams. But surely are players to look out for. It was also unlucky this year as far as injuries are concerned. Most of these players are just sloppy in their performance due to the teams they are given to work with. And once their owners realize that, they'd be able to pull up to their full potential. With that, we've reached the end of our video. With each of these players being immensely talented, it really is a turnoff to call them the worst. But looking only into numbers from the past season, one will be forced to conclude so. The list of players we came up with could be completely different next season, and it'll keep going on. Our list of players could be different from yours, and so we'd love to hear it from you. Let us know your picks of the worst NBA players in the comment section down below. If you've made it this far, please do give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Stay tuned for amazing content and hit that notification bell to never miss another video from us. Until next time.